everyone. Thanks for tuning into Power Athlete Radio, featuring The Crew, where a former pro football player and a D3 All-Star use strength and conditioning as an excuse to talk about anything but. Now here's John and Tex.
This meeting is being recorded.
Where did that sound? We've never heard that sound before.
I'm telling you, that's the new Tubin rule. They flash that so nobody gets caught taking care of themselves.
What?
Wait, what is this?
You don't remember that guy Jeffrey Tubin that was caught masturbating on a Zoom call?
What? No. What the fuck was this?
The
wrong browser was open.
He's on CNN and he's a writer, right?
Well, now he's a CNN analyst, and he had to go on an apology tour. He was
Office Crank?
Oh yeah. There was a COVID spiked Office Cranks, but it was all virtual.
So wait a minute, he was at home just on a conference call, and what the
multitasking. Put a sticky note over the camera.
Like the video was up, or
he thought the video was off.
What a fucking degenerate.
Yeah. So he was
the level
he was
what the fuck is wrong with people? You're on a conference call with all your coworkers, and you're like, watch this, I'm gonna put it on mute and fucking.
Yeah, Department of Justice. So Department of the Justice formal some mock debate or something. So he had a specific role and he wasn't on, but he still had to be that part of the moderation. And he just was like, I'm gonna zone out, and then didn't turn his video off. So his whole team within the Department of Justice staff were just
and he's on mute, silent, and can't hear.
Right, but then his video is still rolling.
Oh, you know what though? That guy fucking, first of all, that guy deserves what he gets. Second of all, that guy should be ostracized out of the community. Well, and you're the fact that he still has a fucking job is.
But then CNN has now hired him as a legal analyst. But then before he started, he had to go on an apology tour on all these CNN shows.
Do they? Well, first of all, nobody watches CNN because it's fucking hot garbage.
Well, this was how they're getting viewers. Is they're hiring because they can't talk about fucking Trump anymore.
I think it's hilarious. If you look at CNN, their fucking ratings are down 9,000%.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Because they don't have anything to talk about. They can't necessarily point fingers at fucking Sloppy Joe. Can you believe that?
It's more that they won't.
Well,
right.
Here's my thing, and this is the sad realization that our country kind of allows us to have, or at least the powers that be allow us to kind of have these illusions of freedom. And it's kind of an interesting one. You remember when the GameStop thing happened? And all of a sudden they were those dudes were on Reddit shorting that, and all of a sudden those hedge funds got in trouble, and then Robinhood, all of a sudden they just shut down trading to protect them. So the FCC had the power to basically shut down traders to protect this group. So wait a minute, where's free market on that one? And then the other one is, they had this illusion of, we have the Second Amendment, and all these people are over my dead body. And then you get Biden up there and he's like, you can't take the government. We got nuclear weapons and F-15s. This is just a little illusion. And it's pretty interesting that when you see this stuff pulled back on the curtain and you're like, so wait a minute, you guys shut down trading, basically shut the exchange down because you were worried about this, this company, this hedge fund going under. And then you got the acting president being like, meh, you guys don't need those weapons. We'll just fucking hit you with nuclear weapons. I mean,
great.
I'm like, okay, great. Let's go back to pretending. Hey, Power Athlete Nation.
Here's to you, John.
Thanks, Mr. McQuilkin. Here's to you. Yeah, I'm John Wellborn, CEO of Power Athlete, and I'm joined by my two nutrition ninjas. I got Rob and Sam on the line, and we are going to answer some questions from the hotline. So Power Athlete Radio has the Power Athlete hotline where you can call and leave questions. You can text, you can leave messages, even the occasional smoke signal, and we will answer these questions. A lot of times they have to do with training, nutrition, life, philosophy, old shitty trucks and cars, and on the occasion we get some pretty dope stuff. So when we got some good nutrition, we like to bring Rob and Sam on and get a fresh take. So I will go to the hotline. Cue it up, Mr. McQuilkin.
All right. What's up, Power Athlete fam? Me and a bunch of my bartending buddies in Nashville have been doing Jack Street for a while and absolutely loving it. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts regards to balancing alcohol consumption with getting after it in the gym? I know you and the boys are no stranger to getting the party started, crushing shots, beers, mojitos. I'm a fiend for mojitos. So I'm wondering what your mentality is with balancing that don't be weird mindset and still being able to crush 90-minute workouts 6 days a week with an already physically demanding job. Bye.
I have thoughts, but I'm gonna go to Sam and Rob first.
Well, first thing is, how many nights a week is he trying to get drunk? After listening to that, I lived in Nashville for 3 years. I was a restaurant manager, actually, and so I understand the going out and partying and that aspect of that is Nashville. So my short answer, and I know we're going to talk deeper, but it's a cost benefit analysis. So are you feeling good in your workouts? Do you like where you're at? Because I don't think research has ever shown that alcohol benefits performance.
No, I think that's spot on. It's what are we talking here? Are we talking 5 nights of binging, or are we talking 1 night of binging? Those things are pretty different. But like, there is some evidence of some acute alcohol is actually being a beneficial energy source, but that's like 1 or 2 drinks, not 10. So I think it's and I wonder, is this asking for permission to not be weird all the time? And I think that's sometimes how people kind of approach alcohol is, can I not be weird all the time and drink all the time? And it's like, well, you can, but there's going to be consequences to that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hit it. I mean, there's some adverse effects for alcohol as it looks in terms of hormone profile. It wreaks havoc on blood sugar. Other than, for me personally, red wine actually tanks my blood sugar. So I have a constant glucose meter on, so I've been monitoring my blood sugar. And man, I can drink red wine all day, and all it does is it drop me in the tank. No idea why, but it can play issues there. It definitely doesn't play into a healthy androgen profile. So if you're trying to maximize testosterone and some of the other stuff, we definitely know that there are high alcohol consumptions tied with some sex-binding globulin hormone and some issues that gobble up. It comes out of liver that gobbles up free testosterone. So, but everything in moderation. You don't have to go with moderations for cowards kind of take and say, hey, I'm going to get fucking smashed 6 nights a week. But also I ask, how old are you? Now, in my early 20s, I could probably go out hard every single night and still get up to the point where on some nights, we would leave the bar and just drive to the facility, put the front seat back, and then catch a couple hours of sleep and then go to practice and be fine. That was in my 20s. In my 30s, that couldn't happen. And then in my 40s, obviously, I'd fucking die. So I think, who are you? What are you training for? Like you said, you're a bartender. I'd never met very many bartenders that didn't drink, at least. And if he's working 5-6 nights a week, there could probably be some binging there. But also, a lot of times big drinking is tied to 2 other things, which is late nights and making poor dietary choices. So I know that if I have a whole bunch of drinks, I like to eat something. And I know that can definitely, wreak some havoc on your diet, and especially for that piece. So, and then also lack of sleep. If you're, as he's a bartender, he's already in a position where he's probably staying up. I don't know what last call is in Tennessee, but, if it's got to be at least 2 a.m. when the bars close. So as a bartender, last call, you kick all the drunks out. He's not getting home till 3, 4 in the morning. If you hang out and have a bunch of drinks all night, your sleep's already going to be disrupted. You're going to bed late, and now you got to try to get up and maximize what you're doing in the gym. So, at the end of the day, this individual's an adult. He's working in a bar, so it's hard to not have drinks if you're working. But I think if Jack Street is your main goal, I would probably pick and choose my battles and say, hey, I'm going to train hard 5 days, and on the 6th day, I'm going to go out and have a bunch of drinks, and I'm going to sleep in that night, or maybe just get up and do a little bit of aerobic work and kind of go from there. So I don't believe, and Sam brought up a good point, like I think that maybe for some endurance stuff, there might be some acute like alcohol response to maybe increase capacity, but in terms of like lifting weights and getting jacked as possible, I don't know a single pro bodybuilder that drinks alcohol with any regular consumption. I mean, maybe on the occasion, but I know when those guys are getting in shape, alcohol doesn't necessarily fit into it just because it's empty calories and they tend to make, you know, bad choices. So all things in moderation. Sleep is paramount. You know, dehydration happens a ton with alcohol consumption. So I think that there's some factors in there. I think at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. What are you training for? Are you really trying to maximize Jack Street? We're finishing up these shadow cycles. I wouldn't want to do any of the shadow stuff fucking hungover. Like there's no way. I'd puke. Like if you guys aren't familiar, we ran, I ran 2 back-to-back, I split them up with a read load week, but we just did 2 6-week cycles of, you know, high intensity or max kind of exertion, 1 set to failure with drop sets kind of deal. And I know it's smashed a lot of people. Man, I don't think I'd want to even attempt that without 8 hours of sleep. So,
well, 2 bars in Nashville are open till 4 a.m. I don't know if these gentlemen work there or not, but the Diner and Scoreboard, ever hear of those, Sam?
I have. Yes, I have.
Yep.
I frequented a lot of Nashville bars in my time.
Man, Nashville's kind of like, feels very similar to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather go out in Nashville at this point, but I've had too much Austin.
Can you have too much Austin?
Yes, you can. Not enough Dripping Springs, but you can have too much Austin.
I think like South Austin. Like that's kind of where I'm feeling like the vibe down in that South Austin area.
Well, yeah. Well, they stole that style from Dripping Springs. The wide open country field picnic table.
Yeah.
No
live music.
walls.
Yeah.
Live music every night. Yeah, that's fucking drip.
And that's the thing I dug about Nashville was there was live music. Every place you walked into, somebody was playing a guitar.
Not just live music, like musicians. Live
They're
musicians. Oh, yeah.
Well, they're all trying to make it big. Like I remember being in Nashville and just like walking into a place and like this band was tearing it up and I was like, God damn, we should stay there. And they're like, no, there's better bands. I'm like, no fucking way. Went in and the next dude was tearing it up. I'm like, this is fucking great.
Uh-huh.
I like listening to live music.
Well, my favorite bar in Dripping Springs are 2 husband and wife, failed Nashville stars that came back home and opened a music school during the day, bar with live music.
This?
Hudson's.
Oh, Hudson's.
Which
We've been
block there. 1, hey, we'll have a little shindig there. And man, when the owners sing together, because they perform typically 1 night a week, but have other bands, man, it's like when they sing, you can like feel it in your bones. It's great. They're fantastic, and they didn't make it.
Yeah. It's a lot of networking.
Yeah, sounds like a tough deal. But yeah, I mean, just to go back, I think if you wanted to maybe have a few drinks, maybe drink some red wine, I think I know Dr. Tom is a huge red wine drinker because of like he felt that the health benefits far outweigh. So when I used to go out with Dr. Tom, he was like Jaeger bombs, vodka, shots, and all that. And now when I go out with Tom, we just drink red wine.
I've also experienced some dinners with some sour beers, some probiotic drinks with Dr. Tom as well. And then what's cool is you ask him, and then he just unloads all the benefits of that.
So I remember asking him, I'm like, you know, are all alcohols created equal? And he said no. There's some that have been shown to have some health benefits, and there's certain blue zones in this world where people that live longer that do consume some form. But he's like, there's no part of the world where somebody's ripping fucking Jaeger bomb shots that's living to be 100.
No. And with these guys, I mean, don't take advantage of the don't be weird rule, as Rob suggested. Hold it in your back pocket, and I mean, pick your night or pick your nights, but it's not all 6. It can't be. That'll catch up to you real quick.
Oh yeah, that'll age you in dog years.
So yeah, if it's Tuesday industry night, that's your day to get after it, and you got a Wednesday sleep in after. Rest day, all right, build that in there. But man, you can't expect to live this way forever, pal.
Yeah, that's a tough lifestyle. The service industry is a very tough lifestyle.
Do
Not
they
one
smoke?
that I would want.
Do they smoke in the bars in Nashville?
I don't think so. There was one like cigar. That's a great question. There was like a cigar lounge above one of the bars I used to go to, which I think was now bought by like Jason Aldean or some country star. Anyway, it doesn't exist anymore. And I know you could smoke in there, but in the bigger ones, no, there's no smoking.
Yeah, I remember when you could smoke in bars in California, and I remember working and coming home and just basically like taking your clothes off, throwing them in the laundry machine, taking a shower, and then when they got rid of smoking in bars, it was like livable again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was college age. They had smoking in bars, and then within months of turning 21, they got rid of it. And I was like, gee, thank Christ.
Well, shit, bartenders all of a sudden added like 10 years to their lives, having to basically just sit in all that secondhand smoke. Ugh. That was terrible. So, all right. So at the end of the day, don't be weird, but don't take advantage of being weird. Make a decision on what you're training for, whether or not it's putting on maximal hypertrophy, trying to put on as much muscle as you possible following Jack Street, and just know that level of drinking, staying out late, and some of the things that happen in those late nights are not necessarily going to aid you in having the most efficient androgen profile to drive adaptation.
Yeah, and get some blood work, as John alluded to a little bit there, and understanding. And I'd say, hey, make a bet. Make a bet with yourself or your 6 bros. Hey, go 30 days and see what happens. Get blood work before, after, or just do a field test and some HRV, whatever you can to measure, and then see how you come out on the other end. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't, but I mean, if you're truly training to get after it and freaking show off and show something this summer.
You mean he's like working at like a Coyote Ugly where these guys are dancing on stage or anything?
Well, I've been to that one in Nashville. Maybe he gets his shot to now dance versus just be the bar back.
What is it, Magic Mike style?
Yeah, I mean, what would you call that bar? Like
dudes.
Dudes?
Dudes.
Just dudes.
Just dudes.
Cut off, macrame their own jean shorts and rock boots and jean shorts.
It's kind of like the same outfit you wear around the house. Just short jean shorts and cowboy boots.
I told you that in confidence.
Just that and a wife beater and a cowboy hat. I'm like, Tex, what are you wearing?
It's the
same thing I wear all the time.
It's the 4th of July.
Yeah, I'm in my party attire.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. All right, guys. Anything else?
No, I think it's just deciding what your goal is. And that's a lot of what Rob and I do for nutrition coaching too, is just helping you find that goal. Because sometimes you get to a point where you're happy, right? Like you're not always chasing a new physique or body composition. And that's when we can play even more into like that balancing act of don't be weird with following a plan for the best longevity and performance.
How many times do you guys run into that with your clients where all of a sudden they hit their goals and they're like, I look great. Like at that point, is it like, let's pivot and do something else? Or are people because it's a lot more fun to be in the fight. Like when somebody meets their goal, you're like, now what do we do?
Right. It can be kind of awkward for sure. Cause you're like, well, I want to keep working with you, but you don't need me. So I try to have a very open conversation with my clients. So, they pay for their 6 months or their 3 months or their year. And, when it's a year, we can have fun because there's leaning, maintenance, bulking, different training programs or whatever we can kind of play around with for that year. But someone who comes in with their, eyes on the prize, essentially for that 3 months, a lot of times they don't deviate because they know that this is what they can afford with you as a coach. And so you kind of just push them to their limit and they get happy. A lot of times then I'll do like a consultation with them to kind of get them on some sort of maintenance plan. And then I just set them, most of my clients I set free essentially. And then I still keep a relationship. I know Rob still does with his clients that have fallen off too. And a lot of times they circle back, right? Like not that they didn't succeed on their own, because that's the goal of a coach, is to let them or have them succeed on their own. But just a little bump steering every, couple months here and there. But I actually get really proud of my clients when they fall off and don't need me anymore.
Yeah, no, they've, you've taught them what they need. You've armed them with enough information. You've got them on the right path, and now you just kind of push them out of the nest and let them go out and do what they do.
Yeah,
that's a nice feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's sad because I get attached to my clients, but it's also great because then you're just friends at that point.
Yeah, and it makes room for new people. So. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Do have a couple slots open.
Ooh, we do. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have some people that have reached the end of their goals. So if you guys are interested in nutrition coaching, look at nutrition.powerathletehq.com. You can reach out to Sam and Rob, through nutrition@powerathletehq.com. And if you need help, there's always info, so we can get you pointed in the right direction. If you're looking for a template, custom coaching, private coaching, performance protocols, whatever it is, we got you on lock. So, and if you're looking for a training program, head over to the training page on powerathletehq.com and scroll down. We got Jack Street, we got Grindstone, we got Field Strong, we got Hammer, Lean Enable, Bedrock. What else am I missing? Johnny Wad, little Johnny Bod. We got a whole bunch of the Johnny crew. So we have a training program that fits your needs. So pair that up with some bitchin' nutrition from our nutrition ninjas, and we got you a cool solution.
And if you're listening and you're one of these Jack Street bartenders,
we need some pictures.
We need some pictures. All 6 of you bros playing DJ Muscle Boy.
We're gonna just, or you could just tag us on Instagram, because I'm sure you guys got some Instagram.
Yeah, and if I plan a trip, I'll hit you up and see if you made it on top of the bar at Coyote Ugly.
What's interesting about this is the McQuilkin will actually travel for a free drink.
You're damn right.
Yeah,
I'll drive 36 hours right now.
He's like, hey, drinks are on me. And McQuilkin's like, I just bought a plane ticket. I heard they got free drinks.
Whose car are we taking?
Sounds good. Hey, Rob, Sam, thanks so much for joining us. And thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Power Athlete Radio.
Bye.
Bye. Now it's time for you to empower your performance. Head to powerathletehq.com/training to choose from a number of programs to meet your specific performance goals. And if you like to break a mental sweat too, visit academy.powerathletehq.com and become a real stakeholder in you or your athlete's success. Until next time, bye!